Axel Webber is who we're going to be talking about to begin this episode. And I don't know if you're mostly on YouTube, you might not know him. If you're on TikTok, you probably definitely know who this person is, but I'll share the screen so you can see exactly who it is. It's this guy who went viral on TikTok because he allegedly has the New York's tiniest apartment, right? That's the whole shtick. Is that this guy, conventionally attractive, young, white man in his 20s, moved to New York to pursue his dream of becoming an actor, ended up in this really tiny, 90 square foot apartment. And I'll show you the video that he shows. We don't have to watch the audio, but here he is doing a YouTube video. He's living in his car, right? He's explaining that he's moving to New York to pursue his dreams. And in the meantime, he's living in his car and he's in New Jersey in a Walmart parking lot. And he kind of tells this story. He weaves the narrative that he's like a starving artist, essentially, just a kid with a dream, right? And he's got no money, and he's eating peanut butter sandwiches. He's sleeping in his car, and that's kind of the tale that we're told. So I'm at first blush, I'm intrigued. I'm like, this is interesting. This is cool. This guy seems pretty normal, and this is a worthwhile TikTok to watch. But the more I watched it, the more I got suspicious, because that's just what happens in, my brain. But if you look a little closer and look at his older TikToks, he comes from a pretty wealthy background. Now, some people know this already, and they say, well, who cares? His parents, may not be paying for anything, and he's doing this on his own. And for that, I say, okay, but then why the insistence on living in the car and living in the small apartment and making it seem like he's never experienced a life of wealth or riches? He kind of he leaves out those details. He kind of keeps it vague. And in this video that we're watching, someone asks, or he says, could I afford a hotel? Yeah, but it's about the experience. And to me, that just rubs me the wrong way, because it's almost like glamorizing homelessness, essentially.
This reminds me, this is something that Creepshow was also using a lot in her videos. And then it turned out she was leaving out this tiny detail that her and her husband actually planned to be homeless. They raised I don't know, rephrase, they saved money for it. They planned this for 6 months or something, and then they went and lived in a car. And I'm not saying that it's not hard. It's still hard to, be homeless and live in a car. But she was never really talking about this until, actually not even until, she never talked about this. Or maybe actually she did talk about it in this video, last video, but now, I mean, it's kind of a little
way later.
Yeah. But she was saying that, and people felt a little bit betrayed, because it was as you feel with this guy, it's okay, so you're trying to use the fact that you are, a struggling artist living in a car, being homeless, living in a small apartment in New York, for sympathy and for support,
to lead you down a path
from a wealthy family. That feels a little
disingenuous. Yeah. And that's how I took it too. And that's the first problem I have. That's kind of, and exactly, this is a perfect quote. It says, it's like Camilla's meme, and I saw that meme, which I laughed at. It's basically motivational advice: wake up at 4 a.m., brush your teeth, and have your dad own the tech company, was the meme. And so I spoke to a 30-year-old exec about being successful, inherit a lot of money. Exactly. And I feel like they purposely, people who create content like this, that have a privileged background, that do stuff like this, I'm living in my car, or I'm going to New York in the smallest apartment ever, I'm going to buy Chef Boyardee for my meals every day. They leave out a very significant part, that if they fail, they can go home, And that's a huge, huge difference between someone who is homeless by necessity and someone who is homeless because they want to have an experience and feel like they, made it in the world. It's a mindset difference that, okay, if this doesn't work out, if I don't, make it in New York. I can just go to my, 7-bedroom family home and be fine.
And
So
even if
that's
he
one
doesn't
part.
go back home, like he can always ask for money if his parents are wealthy. Like for him, it's essentially just like a little activity.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a little social experiment, right?
Yeah.
So that's one part. So I think he's kind of purposely not talking about how his family is wealthy and that this is kind of like a fun choice that he's making. That's one part. Now, the second part is that, is this even real to begin with? And let me explain what I mean about that. So, Axel Webber used to go by AJ Webber. So he made content back in like 2019. He might have made it earlier, but he might have deleted it because even if you go on his Instagram, you can see he only has 3 photos. So he's basically rebranded himself in the last few months. Now, some of his older TikToks that he made on, obviously on TikTok, were, kind of showing his personality, but also, more traditional TikToks where he would do voiceovers using the audio and some of that stuff. But he also bought a old car and did the same shtick kind of that he's doing in the apartment, where he's like, I bought a 1996 Camry and look how shitty it is. So he has 3.6 million TikTok followers. He's got 97.6 million views. Okay, so yes, that is a huge leap. And he got that leap when he had his small apartment in New York City. But if you scroll back to the 2019 era, this is when he's finding his car.
Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I thought today I'd show you around my new car, okay? Let's go. This is the driver door, ignore the hole, and check these out, these windows. Ow, they crank right down. The radio seems to be malfunctioning at the moment, but you can just imagine there's music. Fly me to the moon, let me set up. That's the mirror over there. It seems like he hot glued on a bike mirror, but it works. And the dashboard says that the top speed's 130, but after driving it for a few days, the real top speed is this yellow line here. 55.
Okay, so that's an example of his old content, but it's very similar in the sense of he's showing off something that's, poor, or a person who doesn't have much money needs to use to get around, and almost making a joke out of it. And just if he was at a lower social status or monetary status, I would think, okay, this is just a normal video. But because it's a choice and he's deciding to show it off like this, it just gives me a weird taste in my mouth. And I feel like around this time, he's got 40,000 likes and 118 message or comments on this one, that maybe they decided, like a marketing agency reached out to him or something, and they said, let's recreate this, but on a larger scale, and we'll make it go viral. And I also want to point out the time frame. So right now, this video was posted in October 2019, right? He only owned this car for like 3 months.
So, a few months ago I bought a car. It was pretty good. I had a good time with it, but then I had to sell it on Craigslist because it's a real piece of shit. She had body, she had style, she had class. She was a 1990 Honda Accord.
I went through his Instagram and I went through some of his followers because he only follows 51 people. He's got 200,000 followers. He just made this account. This was posted 1 week ago, right? And it's a professional photo, which, okay, maybe he got discovered in such a short period of time, but maybe not. And now he's already in a modeling agency. He has a contract with the Society New York. And he's 22. Like, come on. And then he's got these, photos, whatever.
Yeah.
So let's go to his followers. So he has a brother, allegedly. This is all just me putting the pieces together. This is his brother, apparently. And you can see Axel in certain pictures with the brother. So, okay, I can assume that at least they know each other. But the pictures and the lifestyle looks much, much, much different than what he was portraying on his YouTube page and his TikTok page. Now, whether that means that he doesn't have financial support now and whatever, but I think he's leaving this part out on purpose, because the story doesn't make sense if it's like, I came from a rich family and now I'm poor.
Yeah.
And like, they're at the pool. They don't, to me, and I, it's hard to judge because maybe it's all just for the Instagram, but I think the more that you look through the photos, it looks like the family is doing fairly well. And he's a part of that and choosing to do this. Now, one interesting thing, this is his brother, allegedly. I think based on the information and what they look like and putting the pictures together, this is his brother and this is his brother's wife. Now, she owns a social media agency in
Oh my God.
Georgia, where they're from, and she gives creator, tips and tricks, and she's apparently the owner and operator of this business. That's never been brought up at all. And I just feel like something fishy is going on. Now, that's the first part. The first part he went viral is when he showed off the world's smallest apartment, whatever, and he got a lot of attention online for showing that off. And that's this video, essentially, where he goes through how small his place is, whatever. He's secondarily famous and viral for not getting into Juilliard University, which is a huge, prestigious performing arts university in New York City. And he basically vlogs not getting in, which I think is odd because, okay, here he is doing his vlog, which I will say is also extremely well edited, perfectly edited for the type of genre he is going viral in. And he acts like he doesn't really understand anything about, viral videos or how it works. He's just this poor kid who came to New York to like be an actor. But he has these vlogs that are like edited, titled, perfect in lots of ways.
Is this on YouTube or is this on TikTok?
This is on YouTube. So he has a YouTube and then he's got the TikTok. And a lot of the content is the same. It's just formatted correctly for each platform. But he's saying in this that he's doing his Juilliard interview audition in real time. So he's talking to the camera, he's vlogging it, saying, hey, like, okay, I'm about to go on in 4 hours.
We'll know tomorrow whether or not I get into the best acting school in possibly the country, and whether or not I don't do an accent. I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted to do Shakespeare in a Scottish or at least slightly British accent. Good morning. The audition's not in person anymore. It's just on Zoom. But like the good thing about this is I'm still at home, so I can like make myself a PB&J while we're waiting to audition. Here's how to entertain yourself while you wait for your Juilliard audition. First, you can dance. Oh my goodness. Would you look at that? Oh. You can play some piano. You can reorganize. I was thinking about taking this and just sort of, and then maybe a little, whole new vibe. Work out, get a little pump in. Get up there. Why does my last name have to be W? I've been in here for an hour. I understand. I get it. Okay, this is the last check-in, for real. I've got the white screen up for a little bit of illumination. Good lighting. I'm about to go in. I'm next. All we can do is our best. Plan for the best, play for the worst. Play for the best, plan for worstness. Play for everything. Do all the things every time. Always do everything all the time, whenever your best can do the things that you always do. Here's how you absolutely botch a Juilliard audition. I had one goal for myself, and it was just to remain in character, to be calm, present, to not do an accent. But, you know what came out of me? I just started thinking of Thomas Shelby, and I couldn't. I jest to Oberon and make him smile. And then the second line was just like, when I a fat and bean-fed horse beguile, Birmingham. Birmingham. I shouldn't have watched Peaky Blinders last night. I can't blame it on the show. I gotta blame it on my brain. It's just me. You know, I love that accent too much.
He sets up the camera to do a dance, to show that he's nervous. He sets up the camera to say like, oh guys, okay, good luck, wish me luck, I'm about to go in. This is what it sounds like. To me, if you were really serious about getting into Juilliard, wouldn't you be preparing in some way a little bit more authentically and like, taking it, like he's eating a peanut butter sandwich on camera, talking to YouTube. but then claiming this is his absolute dream is to make it into the school. It just
Well,
seems
you do have a point, because like I was applying just recently for a master's degree and stuff, and you're just like super stressed out. You have like deadlines that you need to hit, and you have like things to do. In my case, it was like essays, and for each essay, I had to read whatever. In his case, it would be like preparing some sort of an audition or whatever. You're not it's not a fun time. Like it's a stress,
yeah.
especially if you want to get in. Like, if I didn't care, then I probably wouldn't. You're chilling, whatever, you're having fun. But when you care and you really want to, which
Mhm.
is what he's trying to say, right? That he
He's
wanted
like, this is his
so bad.
ultimate. Yeah, this is why he moved to New York in the first place, was to get into Juilliard, which also doesn't make sense because number one, it was a Zoom interview. So couldn't you have done that from anywhere, really? Two, if you can't barely afford to eat carrots every day, how are you going to afford the tuition to Juilliard? And three, wouldn't you wait until you got in to move? Like, what's the rush in moving? He doesn't explain that part either. And it just seems to me all to be about the YouTube, to be about the viral story of his up and coming, success in the future that it's already basically in like motion.
As you are already aware, due to our callback process, you are no longer under consideration for admission for fall 2022, and your application is now closed. It's not what we wanted, but we know it doesn't end here. Just a little step in the road. I don't have Juilliard, but I do have you. And that is plenty. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.
Okay, that's one thing. So he finds out he doesn't get in. Big shocker because he didn't prepare at all. He says in this part, he's like, I did an accent that I shouldn't have done. I don't know. They told me it was bad. I got rejected. And then the craziest part is that his followers went onto Juilliard's like Instagram, any social media channel, and flooded it and said, let our boy in, let Axel in. How dare you not accept Axel? And it's like, we have no idea that he is talented in any way. They accept like 8% of their applicants. Like, there's no proof that he's ever acted in anything ever. And so it just, to me, it's another example of this parasocial relationship that people build online. Like, they believe like his success is their own success because they believe in his story. And people are saying like, oh, one day he's going to be rich. And then some people say like, he already is, like his family already is rich, like he's already made it in the eyes of the world. But I think it's just a way to manipulate the system. And maybe I'm totally wrong. And people have been very, very, very strongly supporting him on TikTok. Like, anyone who even accuses him of maybe being like an industry plant has been like completely obliterated online. So I'm sure I'm going to get some hate about this.
Oh God, you're gonna shut down our podcast on the second week.
And let's see these comments. Okay. I'm the friend you go to when you want to dig up social media during someone, and my friends think I'm a wizard. This is next level work of art. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you did an amazing job. Like,
and people say they're like, why don't you get a life? Like, not to me personally, but people say, why don't you get a life? Leave this kid alone. It's like, because this is a bigger picture. He's a perfect example of a bigger picture issue, I think.
this is
that
sorry, go on.
No.
It makes me think of God, what was her name? The girl who's living in a van and she went like crazy viral.
Oh yeah, she was like showering in the van. Yes,
yeah, she had a snake, and it was like all perfectly beautiful and like amazing editing. I can't remember what her name was. And then it's also similar to the situation with Spill, because Spill was a company and they were pretending to be this tea channel, and they were just like churning out content every day. Obviously, tea channels like us, essentially commentary, like drama, you can't keep up with like a
Everything.
company that has like a team of researchers behind, and just
Sure.
like and Lindsay Ellis came up with this term of manufactured authenticity.
Yes,
She made a video
100%.
essay on that, and I borrowed the concept for a video on Rachel Hollis, because Rachel Hollis, our favorite, was doing that with her Rach Talk show. She
That
basically
is
had
this. Yes,
yeah, she had
exactly.
this exact thing where she was just this was like a few years ago, whatever, and she was younger, she had a different haircut, and she looked a bit more rough, if you will. And
Mhm.
it was just a bit vintage, and she still uses that intro from like back when now she has like, or
A
not now
team.
and not anymore, but like a
Yeah.
year ago she had like a team of 40 people working for her, so you know, you could very easily just have an editor make you an intro. And in
Mhm.
the video intro, it was her like dragging tripods and like dragging the chair. It's like, Rachel, who are you kidding? Like, we know you have a team. And she said stuff like, we are now fancy, we have a producer, we're now fancy, we have a
Mhm.
script. Like, so why are you dragging your tripod? Like, oh my god, look at me, gorilla style, like, you know,
I think it's
filmmaker.
I think it's because it's the antithesis of the Kardashians, but it's the same exact thing. It's like the Kardashians represent like unattainable wealth. They have so much wealth, you can never, get there most likely because they are so successful as a group unit. So people that know that they can't be there, they go to the opposite end of the spectrum and say, I am successful and I can teach you because I'm just like you in every way, and I got to be successful, so now you can listen to me and feel like you're relatable.
Yeah,
Whoever wanted me to think that I'm relatable. But
yeah.
I think that is the relatability, and I think things like this, and obviously it's not confirmed whether it's just a genuine feel good story that happens to play itself out, or if it is a manufactured thing that took strategy and thought. But marketing companies are not stupid. They know that people don't like ads. They know that people love viral stories, that they love these like organic grassroots type of campaigns, quote unquote. And they're going to get more and more savvy about it, no pun intended, savvy. They're trying to get more and more savvy about it, and I think stuff like this is going to start happening. Now, another thing, my final thought on this whole story, is that he was spotted at the Hype House.
Yes, I feel crazy because my friend just sent me this video.
And that's one of those TikTok,
Yeah.
like content creation farms, essentially. And it was kind of like people saw him there, or there was some video of him dancing. And it was kind of like, well, since he went viral, now he's being called and invited to these places. However, he doesn't vlog that. He doesn't vlog like, hey guys, oh my God, what a crazy, amazing thing that's happened to me. I went viral and now I'm in LA. And like that to me would be more authentic. He posted yesterday on YouTube that 23 hours ago, a day in his life, he's buying, oh, now it's an ad, but a day in his life vlog, he's buying like butter at the bodega and acting, like, oh, I've always been here and this is just my typical life. And to me, that's totally within his narrative still of, oh, I'm just this like, just goofy guy living my life. But in reality, he's getting all this like modeling contracts and in the Hype House, and he's not genuinely excited about going up to the roof as he makes it seem. He'll be like, wow, this is amazing, there's a pigeon, oh my God, New York City is crazy. I think it's all an act. And
Wow.
I think he acts like, if you watch his stuff after this, if you go and take a deep dive, he kind of acts like a nerd, sort of, and not to be like a negative nerd, but like kind of like he doesn't have any game. He acts like he doesn't really understand women and that he's kind of just goofy, doesn't really know how his feet work. But then if you watch his old stuff or go to his Instagram, he's got like a bandana, he's got like six-pack abs, he's like in Haiti on a cruise. Like he seems much more socially typical, I guess, in those videos and older things. And now he's developed this character in which like he's like down on his luck type of guy. And I just do not buy it. at all. So I think maybe they'll reveal it later and reveal it as this huge campaign that they came up with, but maybe not. I don't know. It's just a weird story.
This is so interesting. I really just did not expect this at all. You really caught me by surprise because I only saw like a video pop up on my TikTok, and I don't even remember. I don't think it was the video about him not getting into Juilliard, but it was something else of his. And I just did not expect this level of research. Oh my God, Kia, you're putting me to shame here.
Sorry. But like what you said though, manufactured authenticity, 150%. This is what I think this is. And like that manufactured imperfection, like he's gonna choose his flaws. You know, you're not going to look at him and decide, oh, he's a jerk or he's this and that. He's going to tell you, oh, I'm poor. Oh, I didn't get into Juilliard. These are my flaws. Look at these flaws over here. Don't look at this other stuff. And I think that is manipulative. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I don't, in my guts, I feel like something's fishy. And usually, you know, there's something to it. Maybe it's not as extreme as what I'm saying, but and also last point, I promise. This is 2 months ago, right? Was when he moved to New York. And he's gotten this much of a following, millions and millions. He's only been in New York for 2 months. And he's probably got money, if this is legit, he's probably got like $100,000 coming in the next year. So he's going to move out of this apartment. And to me, that just doesn't, like, you lived in an apartment for 2 months that was somewhat inconvenient. Come on. Like, is that something we're really going to celebrate online in 2022? I guess yes, but.
Okay, at this point, I'm even wondering, did he even live in that apartment? Did he even live in that car? Or was that just a film set for his vlogs?
Yeah, I don't know. I have doubts because why would you not show the rest of it? Why would you not show going to LA? Like, that's the part that I'm like, I'm more so convinced that it's BS because.
Where you said that he went to the hype house. It's like, anyone who is like trying to make it, even if it's not, you don't make it as an actor and you don't get into Juilliard, going to the hype house would be like a big deal for you as a small influencer, as someone who wants to make it, because you're getting all this exposure. Obviously, the exposure and stuff like is that important to him because he somehow has it, and he's kind of set. The money is not important because he's kind of set. So that part is not important, but just like pretending that he is.
If he's so excited, if he's so excited about like little things in New York, like he claims to be like, wow, oh my gosh, there's snow, this is amazing. He went snowboarding like several months ago, you know, on his on his old pictures. Like he acts like he's never seen it before.
This is truly cringe.
Like I just think he's a good-looking guy who saw like what is really popular online, which is like feel-good stories, and he just. Because like, okay, even this too, it's like, this is from, I don't know, 1 day ago, how to make ramen. He's already been to the hype house. This is not the type of content you'd keep making if this was real.
Yeah, and not when you're coming from a pretty well-off family. Like, you probably never seen ramen. Or maybe, you know, how to make it, because I've never seen ramen in my life because we have a personal chef.
Yeah, but it's just like, oh, I'm doing this out of necessity. I don't know. It just,
I don't like this at all. You're so right, though. You're so right. I just didn't see it. But like, this is not good news. I hate, and this is personal opinion really, but I hate companies that do this because they're literally, and wasn't there a photo shoot with the Kardashians, or not the Kardashians, I think it was Kim and Kanye, and they did a photo shoot in like a poor house, and it's just like this idea, let's go to
cosplay.
Let's cosplay as a poor person. Let's do poor tourism. Let's just like have fun living like them for like an hour. Oh, even the Ace family who went and worked in a restaurant as bartenders, as like waiters or something for like an hour, and it turns out that was their friend. It wasn't even like like an actual, it wasn't an actual
No.
job for a full day, and they said working in the restaurant for 24 hours, but in fact they were working in the restaurant for like an hour or two, and the restaurant was owned by a friend.
Yeah.
It's like, and then they were like, oh, look at us trying to get a normal job. It's like they're just glamorizing poverty, and they're pretending like it's not a big deal, and poverty is this quirky little thing, when
Yeah.
it's debilitating for people,
100%, 1,000%. Someone who's actually impoverished, most likely, in 99% of cases, I would imagine, don't get the big break that this kid got. And they don't have the background to fall back on if they fail. So it's already not comparable. So when people see this, they go, being poor isn't so bad. That everyone should just take their bootstraps and be like Axel and just like, go for it, make a quirky vlog, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And like poor people don't, they just aren't as hardworking as people like Axel. And it's like, that's bullshit. It's not the same thing. Like choosing to be in a situation that, is more affordable is not the same thing of not being able to get a job because you went to prison and now you can't get a job and now you're stuck in the cycle of poverty forever and ever. It's totally two different things, but people will watch this and go, I understand poverty now. I get it. I've seen it on my TikTok. And that's the part that's disappointing and I think needs to be corrected in
So
some way.
I guess the question that I have for you is,
Yes.
do you think he even wanted to get into Juilliard?
No, I don't, because who does in this day and age? He's not stupid. What person thinks, oh, the only way to become an actor is to go to Juilliard, who's 22 years old? Everyone knows, and he knows because he's been doing TikToks and was successful at it since 2019 or probably earlier. So he's not an idiot. He knows too how it works, and he's doing exactly, making vlogs. I'm telling you, the editing on those vlogs is perfect. Exactly vlog style, the way that even like him dancing, there's like little cut-ins. I'm an editor, a video editor. That's something that you have to learn over a long period of time. And he doesn't say he's an editor or a video creator. He says he's just a quirky guy. So I'm not, someone's editing those videos, or he has a skill that he's not talking about, which makes no sense. So
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
You
Editing
know-
takes like forever. And if in order to do the like I don't do that because it takes so much time, and I'm not loving the editing part. So for
Yeah.
me, just cutting short on that is just helpful. So I think if he's someone who was into editing and he was like putting in hours and hours of editing, he would not be able to. I just don't. I don't know.
If he was like a theater nerd and had like a good background, and he doesn't talk about ever watching plays, being in acting class, acting school, nothing. Why would you want to go to Juilliard? I just don't understand. It seems like he likes a traditional route of getting famous. So I don't know. It just seems like a convenient way to talk about like, oh, TikTok is the true way to move forward in your career. Hire our marketing team that made this kid go super successful and viral and got all this like news coverage, and we can do it for you. And we'll just pay us $100,000 and we'll make your child a star. That's
And
what
it
I
can be like his sister. You said his sister, or like a family relative who has like a social media company.
Yeah,
That's
be his
just
sister-in-law. Yeah, and that's not discussed. It's like his family doesn't exist really in this world of virality. He has, you can look it up, you can find it, but from what he presents, they don't exist. The only storyline is 20-something-year-old kid goes to New York for dream of Juilliard, lives in tiny apartment, and that's it. Like gets rejected from Juilliard, but then becomes famous because of TikTok. That's
Yeah.
the story. And I just don't buy it.
Yeah,
I don't
and
think
he's like a model or something now. Like because the whole news was he gets rejected from Juilliard, becomes a model because of the story or something.
And it's also partly the media's fault because they pick up on it and they don't ask follow-up questions. Like I can't read it because I can't go on this New York Times thing. I don't pay for
Well,
it.
this
But
is essentially like if it's true what you're saying, which we don't know for sure. This is our speculation.
obviously, yes.
But
I don't know anything really.
yeah, like this is just based on our own opinion. But if this was the case, then the media in this case is acting as a big, as like Axel is a big sponsor who's sponsoring them to put out the story.
Yeah. And because he's not technically technically an actor. He's not technically a person, an influencer with businesses behind him. The news outlets are more interested or more willing to tell the story, but it doesn't mean that he's not being represented on the DL. He's just not telling people that outright.
Yeah.
And
Which
this,
should be kind of illegal, shouldn't it? Like, I feel
yeah.
like that should be false advertising of
I
sorts.
think so. But that's the thing. It's like we see so many influencers maybe put a hashtag ad, maybe on something, but
Yeah.
half the time they don't, and no one's really watching. It's like the FCC could care less. They got,
Yeah.
other things to deal with, I suppose. But it's just, it's hard to know what's authentic and what's not. And even going back to the Kardashians for a second, I've been watching stuff about them photoshopping different children into different photos on their Instagram.
So earlier, Kim posted this photo, and when I first looked at it, I instantly knew something was off. True just looks obviously photoshopped and like she's not really there, but I thought maybe I was crazy. But then this lovely Instagram page revealed that I am not crazy. True is photoshopped. Not only is she photoshopped, but she's photoshopped onto a photo of Stormy from October.
So like if they don't want to show that one of their kids was somewhere, they'll just take the photo of a different kid and Photoshop the body. It's like, it's insane how far we've gone to have a narrative be the way they want it to be. It's crazy. So I don't think anything is past anything.
I feel like these people like know something that we don't. Like, I think they know just how to manipulate the media, or how I'm assuming they must have, like in Axel's case, like you found it, that he has someone in the family that is in the media business. I'm assuming that all these people have just like genuine contracts with like paparazzis and stuff like that to give them attention, and we think they're just like harassing them, but in fact they're hired.
Totally. It's like an industry within itself, is the behind the scenes type of who knows who and who's paying who and all that. I totally believe that.